Okay, welcome. Thank you so much for coming to this event. I'm so excited to share Lisa with you and to learn more about her project. And at the end, we'll do some readings with her cards, which I'm very excited about. I'd like to invite everyone to close their eyes. And we're just going to do a quick grounding, 1-minute grounding. As you close your eyes, allow your exhale to soften the body. Breathing in slowly and gently, allowing the air to expand your lungs, your belly. And exhale, soften the jaw, the shoulders, the hips. And imagine a bright white light coming down from the heavens, swirling around, coming into the top of your head, swirling down through your throat, down through your rib cage, your spine, down through your arms. The swirling light fills your body completely, reaching your hips and your legs down to your feet, reaching down into the earth, moving through the layers of the earth, the rock, the sand, the dirt, the water, down to the core of the earth, grounding you. And seeing that light now filling your body, reaching out to heavens, allowing the light to fill you, connect you with the earth, and see yourself connected with the spirit. Breathing in that love and light, filling the body and exhaling, softening. Slowly and gently open up the eyes. Beautiful. So I'm going to put myself on mute and I'll hand everything over to Lisa.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for having me, Dorothy. It was wonderful. And does everybody know I'm Jane's cousin?
Yay!
All right, gotta get that out there. So thank you, Jane, for pulling me into your circle. That's really wonderful. Really appreciate that. So I'm so excited to be here. I'm going to tell you about my work and what I've been doing for my whole life, really. I am an artist. I work, my projects for the past 20 years has been called Goddess on Earth. It's portraits of women as the divine feminine. My mission with it all, oh, there goes Jane upside down, is lifting women up. I consider my work and myself a social activist also. It's not, I don't consider the work, the motivation is not just to make beautiful images, which of course I hope they are. Yes, but it's to lift women up. It's really, the process is very exciting to me. So I find that I want to express the multi-layered, multi-dimensional aspect of women. And I find my way in there is through archetypal stories and myths. So that has been my mission. I'm going to take you back a little bit. I'm going to share my screen. Can we share screen there? Host, disable, participant. I'm going to share. Dorothy, can you get that? Yes, no.
This is my first time
Okay.
sharing my screen with, do you have to request it or?
Yeah, you go to the participant page and you click on her name and the dots and you can say make co-host.
Ah, the best. Thank you, Jane. Okay. Oh, wrong name.
Technical things.
Make host. Make host.
Okay, that looks, I'm a host now. Good. And I can share my screen. Oh, is that your screen? No, there's that. Okay, good. Great. Okay, got it. There we go. Okay. So as I was saying, I really consider my work that and myself as on a mission. I'm using photography, I'm using portraiture to to celebrate women, to incorporate ancient stories, and to lift each woman one at a time. So that is my mission. I've been photographing since I was, I think I'm probably 6 there. Jane knows my father was also a photographer. And so I've had a camera in my hands for forever. But I also had another love. I was a dancer. I went to college as a performing artist. And a lot of my training was with the Martha Graham Company, which was Martha Graham, if any of you know, was one of the seminal choreographers of the 20th century. And she used a lot of myths. This is Joan of Arc. So this was a piece that I performed where I was the warrior aspect of Joan of Arc. So I think the combination in my youth and in my teens and early 20s of dancing and through myths kind of coalesced into my lifelong passion. I became a choreographer after I left college, and this is a piece that just intrigues me because it's a video piece, an early dance video, where I had a dancer dancing in the streets, and it is now, and it also had really the structure that I still embody, which is maiden, mother, crone, the life cycle of women. It had if you can see in the yellow, it was the maiden section. And then there was a conflicted section. And then there was a warrior. And it's hard to see, but you'll get the idea. This was the warrior. It was very early in the 80s. And I'm very proud of this dance video because it's now in the permanent collection of the 9/11 Museum, primarily because we photographed it at the base of the World Trade Center when it was still possible for young filmmakers and dancers to just go there on a Saturday morning at 6 o'clock in the morning and start dancing around on the sculptures in the promenade. So we did that. It's a really interesting video and it is up online. So sure, go look. So after my choreography, but you'll see that it really led me into, now I see these two connected. This was when I started to really go from video into still images. And this is the project that once I made that shift. Oh, I do want to tell a story though. I want to go backwards about why did I start photographing women as goddesses? So that's very important. That transition during that time of going from dance to film into photography, but understanding what was the focus. I was in my 30s and went to a retreat, a goddess retreat, a women's retreat. Without knowing, I just went there because I needed to get away from my everyday life with my son and my husband and just have a retreat. And while I was there wondering what is the next thing, what's coming, I had my cards read for my very first time with, I don't know if you know, the Mother Peace cards, Vicki Noble's cards. Oh, I didn't mean to change that, but we'll go back to that. And she did a reading of my reading, and she said, I was wondering if I was going to have another child. And she said, no, but you should be photographing women as goddesses. She did not even know I was a photographer. And that's literally what she said to me. And it was like, I was actually crying, saying, I don't know what a goddess is. And she said, don't worry, the women will know. And it was shocking, and I didn't understand it until a month later. I was invited into a moon circle. So a circle of women that we met at the full moon, the fire pit, standing in circle with a priestess. And a newbie, the priestess, had a call to action to everybody shout out names of goddesses. This is going back 20 years. And people were shouting out names or speaking them, and I really didn't know the names of the goddesses. I knew Artemis, I knew Aphrodite, I knew the Greeks, the Romans, but Sumerians? I did not know. And the names were, when I came home and started researching these names, I realized how like 20,000 years ago, they were prominent. They were the most important goddesses. And yet I didn't know anything about them. And I assumed I wasn't, this was not, I was not that unusual. We all don't know them. And that got the fire in my belly. That got me angry. I started to realize this is our history. This is our, her story. And these are archetypes that explain who we are, can help guide us in our complicated lives. And I felt robbed. I felt something had been taken from me. And so I used her message of the women will know to start photographing the women in my circle. So it started very small. One at a time, I started to ask the women to photograph, and always it was very simple. It's what goddess inspires you, what goddess means something, or it has a quality you wish you had. And the images always came from the women. It was never superimposed. And that has been for 20 years the way I've worked. That is the essence, the foundation of everything I do, that it comes from the women. So each image is an expression of how the women want to be seen. How do they want to, what do they want to embody? What do they want to project? And what do they want to use me as a vessel to show the world? And it's been remarkable because it's been so varied. So this, what you're seeing here, Durga, was a culmination after 10 years of that work. A book was made called Goddess on Earth. And they're images that I've taken around the world. This is I don't know if you've heard of Madhur Jaffrey. She's a cookbook writer, an Indian cookbook writer. And each woman would write, if you can read it, she chose the warrior goddess and a destroyer of suffering. So again, this was her choice. And she was fierce warrior embodiment during that portrait. But the other important thing is that I combined ancient artwork that would then support and illustrate really what the women were also trying to express. And undoubtedly what they were expressing really did. I didn't choose an image because it looked like the sculpture. The sculpture came afterwards because I was learning from the women. The women were teaching me. So that's a big part of that book of that. I'll show you another one, which you saw, Olympia Dukakis, who recently passed away, very involved in the goddess world, very aligned with the goddess Inanna, who was the ancient goddess. Each woman wrote a poem or wrote a statement and shared their feelings about it. Olympia wrote a poem about the darkness, the duality of this goddess, that she's the goddess of the heaven, but she also knows the dark realms of the underworld, because she had gone there and explored the underworld where her sister was the queen. And so this goddess Inanna really, although she's of heaven and of earth, and she embodied both, which is one reason that the portrait shows her in lightness and dark. So Jane had a request that I show also this portrait of my great aunt and Jane's grandmother, she would call her, right, Jane? Yes.
Yes, she was like a grandmother to me, very special in my life.
Very.
She lived to be what, 102?
Yes, this was taken when she was 99. And I again, same process. Marcella, I'm doing portraits of women as goddesses. What goddess are you? 99. She said Aphrodite. I'm sure without missing a beat. And I love what she wrote. It was so interesting. So she's 99, and she wrote, I was born in a small village of Hobart, New York on March 9th, 1905. Love to me is a strong feeling of devotion to a person, male or female, and to nature's blessings. That was a beautiful, we're talking about a lot about love today. And I got that card, Dorothy, when we were just, before everybody joined us, we did a little card pulling. And so it's interesting again about love that, that I do consider that I see women while doing the portraits and the process is as important as the photo session, but the process is about love. The process is about seeing the woman in front of me as the embodiment of the divine and through eyes of love. And I think approaching the portraits that way do allow the women to be vulnerable and their most powerful selves at the same time. So from the book, I began to do installations, multimedia installations, and I did, I'm gonna show a video, because then I started to embrace the video, go back to video making, and I started to do videos in theaters, in lobbies, in malls, and in a beautiful theater in New Jersey commissioned a installation, and a filmmaker, Catherine Kaplan, made a wonderful video of the process. So I thought it's 5 minutes, it's very short, tells a lot about my process, and you'll learn a lot about that. So we're gonna watch a short video here, okay? And let me know that we're all good with the sound. Good. Goddess on Earth is a site-specific multimedia installation that celebrates women in local communities. These installations are a collaboration.
Lisa, is it supposed to be playing a video or just the audio?
There should be a video. I have, I'm sorry. Good, thank you. I didn't share screen.
Do you want to start it again so we can all see?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Oh, I'm so glad you said that. I thought okay, let me share my, go back to Zoom. Sorry about that, I forgot. We weren't, hold on, let me go back here. Oh, how do I get back to you? I'm back to meeting, okay. Is that it? Am I getting back to you? You are screen sharing. It says I'm screen sharing. Yeah, you should be able to see it.
Yeah, it's just showing photo stills, Lisa.
All right, I'm going back to, you don't see right here, you don't see the video, you heard it, but you aren't seeing it?
No, it's just still pictures.
You hear it, but you don't see it. All right, well, I don't have to show it. No, okay. That's weird.
Well, so maybe it's only sharing a certain part of your screen. Because right now we see the still pic, we see the Goddess on Earth Oracle, and
oh no, that's funny. That's not what you should be seeing here.
So
this. You're seeing the brown logo.
Yes.
Oh, you're not seeing my Safari. You're not seeing Safari. You're not seeing the internet.
So okay. it may just, you may, I know you can, when you do go to share screen, you can say share, it'll give you some options on the, and I believe you're able to do it that way.
No, I think you're right. I totally forgot about that. Where was that? I may have to stop sharing. I'm going to stop share and do it again.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yes, you're right. There was that question, right? Where was that? Oh, share sound, optimize video clip. Do I do that too? I think that's right.
There we go.
Is that right? Does that work?
Perfect.
Okay.
Yeah. And I got
Goddess
my-
on Earth is a site-specific multimedia installation that celebrates women in local communities. These installations are a collaboration as the women themselves choose the myth that most reflects their lives, their passions,
Picture of her like
and their
photographing people.
inspirations. After we make the portraits, they're edited into a video and made into larger-than-life size banners. So the final installation really reflects the unique and varied nature of the community itself. And yet, there's a universal message, one of empowerment and connectivity.
I'm consistently surprised by the impact that good art made from a place of love and generosity and altruism can have. Something intangible, something magical happens that reminds you what it is to be a human being. And I don't think that that is something that comes from any other experience. It was so amazing to have all of these different people from our community in one place sharing in the experience of this multimedia presentation. Watching these images of these women and listening and reading their words and feeling a sense of unity that is so powerful. That's what I think the mission of all art should be, to bring people together in our shared humanity. I think that one of the most amazing things about Lisa's project, Goddess on Earth, is the process of discovering what the photographs are going to be.
She's a guardian. I think guardians are willing to go to battle if need be.
Yeah.
But she's watchful and mindful the whole
Yes.
time.
Okay, cool. But I like that idea, and I want to do now. Let's try that.
I think Goddess on Earth was incredibly successful in many ways. Specifically, the 3 women that were selected to be photographed and be a part of this, I think it was a life-changing experience for them. First of all, just to know that there are such an array, such a history of goddesses. Just to know that that exists is enlightening. To really take a moment and think about what your strengths are. What is the connection of where I feel my strength in my life? And what is the connection of that to other women? It's always new to me, that reminder of how powerful sharing art can be.
I don't have enough words to describe the way my heart feels happy about this project. And I look forward to it blooming and blossoming in different areas throughout the world so that we can see who we are and be who we are. Yeah.
In our world, all people have access to clean water.
In our world, all people have access to freedom.
In our world, love is the guiding principle.
In our world, we honor the earth with each step.
In our world, laughter and music heal everything.
In our world, people have time to play.
In our world, we see the divine in each other.
Okay. Everybody, did everybody see that?
It was so beautiful. That was so beautiful. Thank you for sharing, Lisa.
Oh, good. So yes, I felt that that really, I'm looking to see where you guys are on my screen, but oh, maybe stop. No, I don't want to stop sharing.
Yeah. Oh.
But yeah, so I can talk without seeing myself. Yeah, so that I thought that video really summarizes looking at people with love, allowing people to women to express themselves and be standing in circle with women. So after I guess the book had come out before then, but with COVID, I decided to jump back. I'm going to talk about the Oracle deck now. I had started this project I thought instead of making the book, this is the book here with Aunt Marcella in it. And,
by the way, my mother looks a lot like Aunt Marcella. Could have been Aphrodite also.
Oh, 100% she would have been Aphrodite. Absolutely. Yeah, so I wanted to do another way. I'm always trying to think, what is it? I thought the book as a tool also, because there's a lot of learning about these goddesses. There are pages where you can actually read about them as well. And again, seeing the artwork, comparing the art, the ancient art, the stories, and the portraits of contemporary women. And a couple of years ago, I had an idea of, well, I love Oracle decks after that one, important time with the Mother Piece cards. And I thought, well, perhaps an Oracle deck which would be more interactive with people. Instead of being a coffee table book that sits right on a table, this would be used more, let the images speak to women, and you'd have to really look at them to get a message from them. So this was an experiment on my part, and I did a sample of it 3 years ago, half the size of the deck, no writing, and sold out immediately. And then other things came along. I've been working with Indigenous women, telling their stories and their sacred stories. But with COVID, I had a chance to really deep dive. I said, all right, this is the moment. I'm going to use this as to really finish this project and do it, manifest it. So, so this is the Oracle deck, and I just got the shipment in from China today, so I was very ungrounded. So thank you, Dorothy, for helping us get grounded. And over this year was a very intense year of conducting a Kickstarter campaign, writing a book. There's quite a detailed book that goes through the goddesses, and the structure of the book is the elements: earth, air, water, fire, and spirit. And so there's a lot of information about even the elemental qualities that we can draw upon to understand ourselves. So I'm going to show you one more video, since we're good for videos, of why I made the Oracle deck. It's very, shows 3 portraits being made. So we still good for seeing videos, I hope. Let's see if we can see this one. This one I think is just 2 minutes. Okay. And let me know if you can't see it.
We got it. Looks great.
You got it? Okay, great. Okay.
During this critical time, we are witnessing a paradigm shift where women's wisdom and sacred stories will be the foundation for women everywhere rising up.
That's Martha's Vineyard.
Goddess on Earth Oracle is a 45-card deck structured around the 5 elements and features real women embodying ancient archetypal stories. The portraits reveal the spirit of strong, independent girls, creative, ferocious women, warrior activists, and epic elders from around the world.
Mami Wata is an African water deity, and she is used in many cultures across the African diaspora as well as Caribbean ones. And why I love her is that she's kind of all-powerful in a sense. For me, I'm choosing her to celebrate kind of the dichotomy within myself and within women in general, womankind, that we are complex beings who have such power within us, whether that is to create or to destroy. So it's a lot of light and dark, but always in the water.
Pele is ferociously a guardian over her little sister in a form of an egg who's being carried around, almost being nurtured and protected like a small child. To me, Pele means to stand in your power, to birth, nurture, destroy, and put to death.
Hawks fly very, very high at a level that gives them the connection with Creator and with the spirits. The hawk has the keenest eyesight. When it comes down with purpose, and it doesn't miss.
I'm Lisa Levart, a photographer and an artist, and for the past 20 years, I've used my art to fiercely support the empowerment of women worldwide. Each woman has shared their wisdom and sacred knowledge with me. I've made this deck to share their wisdom with you.
So, I always think the videos explain a lot more than I can in person. So that got, okay, so you're seeing this. Wish I could see you guys again. I gotta get back to you. Anyway, so that brings us back to the Oracle deck, which over this year has been being manifest, and it's here. It's here.
Yay!
And there are 45 cards that are structured on the elements. There are 8 portraits in each element, with a bonus section of 5 creature cards.
Hey, Lisa.
Yeah.
I'm having a little trouble hearing you compared to Dorothy's volume, and I don't know if how far from the mic you are, if anybody else is having the same issue.
All right. How's that? Is that
much better?
Okay, I turned it up. Good. Can you see me? I can't see myself. Am I good? Okay.
Oh yeah.
You're good? Okay. So
do you need your screen up still? Because you're a tiny square and your screen is a big square.
Screen up. Thank you. I'll do stop share, right?
And then we can put you on speaker view and see you in the cards.
Thank you for, where do I do stop share? There we go. How's that?
Much better.
Okay, good. All right. So the Oracle deck here, yes, I'm hoping it'll be a tool, and it will be, offer wisdom to women. I call it, the subtitle is A Divination Deck and Guidebook with Spirited Wisdom of Your Sisters. So each woman has written, like they were, like in the video, they wrote their thoughts, intentions, and messages to the readers. And there you go. So that's, anybody have any questions that I can answer or even talk about further about the deck? I'm always good to take questions. Yes, Kate.
I think Kate wants one.
So, hi, nice to meet you, by the way.
Nice.
My question is, because the oracle decks that I've worked with are usually, they've been channeled. So you got your information through 20 years of working with these women, and you chose them according to elements. How did you choose? I guess I'm trying to figure out, how did you choose what to use and what not to use?
Yeah, great question.
That's a real process.
Yeah, okay. So that is a great question. What I did over this year was look back over the book Goddess on Earth came out in 2011. So, but I continue to make portraits of women as goddesses. So I went through all the work post the book, and it took a while to come up with the foundation of the elements. And it was quite a jigsaw to think, how was the woman's intention? Like Pele, okay, Pele, you would know, Pele would be about fire. But when I looked at it and I'm always very conscious that there's diversity in ethnicity, in age, in body types, in intentions, in representation should be very diverse. So it was really complicated. I mean, you're putting your finger on something that was very hard to make all work. Like, was there enough diversity? Was everything lining up? And ultimately it did pull together. The channeling part, which is kind of interesting, you brought that up. With each page, there, I don't know if you can see it, but there is 3 parts to the writing. And there's an attribute, which is learning about the myth, the story. There is a perspective, which the women then are sharing their wisdom. And then there is an action. And the action I channeled. That was I would take, I think, a day each and just sit with the women, their images, sit with what they were thinking about, sit with the element, and the actions then were from my heart and was from my channeling. And it's interesting that you said that, and I really feel that's how it came about.
Well, you have to. I was wondering what you were guided by to choose these 45 cards, because you had already created all these images, right?
Yeah.
So to suddenly choose 45 out of them, that's an interesting process how you went about that. And I like that you have those 3. I like that you channeled the attributes. That's cool.
Yeah, that is how I did it. And there were I'd say about 5. Once I had the shape, there were about 5 portraits that I did. I knew there were holes. Like, ooh, I really need one more water goddess, and I didn't have it. And that's where I did the Mami Wata. That was one of the. I think that's the last image I made for the book, actually. Yeah. So there were a couple that filled in little spots, little nooks and crannies that had to be, done once it all was coming together. But they organically. I mean, I had to eliminate some beautiful images when there'd be like too many. I had so many spirit, embodying spirit. I felt, and that was kind of, I had to let go of some beautiful images, but they'll show up in next project.
The next project.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Great. And I will say, actually, like I was thinking when I said that I had to eliminate some, I mentioned I've been working with Indigenous women. So that's been a major part of my life for the past 3 years. And that could be another whole deck. And I didn't want this one to be, like I was saying, I wanted it very diverse. So I didn't want to just, this is the card I picked earlier. Unconditional Love. And she's a member of the Rampo Lenape Nation. And that was what her portrait meant to her, was unconditional love. the story and it was a Lenape story that she found. And again, I didn't know anything about Lenape myths, so I was learning as I go. But I didn't want it to be this deck to be all about Indigenous women, because I have a lot. But there are certainly a Filipino woman, Cherokee woman, Lenape, and anyway. But I love them all. Yeah. Any other question or card pulling, Dorothy? Or
Yeah, are there any other questions before we get into card pulling? Okay, perfect. Well, just want to thank you so much, Lisa, for sharing all that. It's so beautiful. And I can't wait to pull cards. So we'll do this together. And first we'll pick for Caroline. And so Caroline, is there something you want us to tune into, or just in general pull a card for you?
I think just in general. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. Let's do general.
Perfect. We'll do that. So Lisa, if you can shuffle the cards and think of Caroline and just tuning into her name. And then as you shuffle, if you can cut the deck for me and then pick the top card and then show it. Caroline, are you able to put yourself on mute? And then that way we can have, yes. Right now it shows, and then Lisa, hold on, I can't really see because let me see if I can switch my view.
Lisa, say something to show the card.
Okay. Oh yeah. Good. Yeah. Thanks.
Okay.
The
beautiful.
card is honor the path.
Beautiful. So right away it comes to the number 3 and 9 is being lit up for me in regards to Caroline. And that is like the communication. It also feels like there is an ending happening for you as well. And if you could keep it up, sorry, Lisa, if you could keep it up so that way I can tune into whatever pops up. But what I'm picking up for you, Caroline, is an ending, and it feels like using your voice and honoring that ending in the most loving way possible. It does feel like with at least one other person, although this feels like a group. So whether that is someone you're working with or someone personal, it feels there's an ending occurring. Also, what this does make room for is the next step, which is that culmination of the home, culmination of just happiness within the home and more celebration. So that's what's coming forward right now for you. You can take another moment, Caroline, if you want to picture the card and take that in. Perfect. And so we'll move on. Kate, did you want a card? Yay. Okay, cool. So we'll tune into Kate. So Lisa, if you can shuffle, please, and tuning into Kate. And I'll have you cut the deck, please. And then taking that top card.
Pele.
Beautiful. So
it says protect fiercely.
Okay, perfect. And what I'm getting actually for you, Kate, is protecting fiercely your peace. So your peace needs to be protected so very fiercely. And it's also about releasing the past as well, and releasing the past in a way that's making it feels like obviously you've gone through so much in your life and you've learned so much, but it's also having the eyes of a child still. So keeping the peace, having the eyes of a child, so that way it's not a first impression or judgment, but you allow the joy and you allow peace into your life through that way. So having new experiences, that every experience is a new experience. Even if, say, you've had it before, it's going to be completely new now. So, and as you let go and you move forward in that energy of protecting your peace and coming from that childlike wonder, you'll find just it really enriches. Like they're showing a lot of soil. So you're burning away a lot. And I love like in the images that they have here, there's a lot of burning. And so it's enriching the soil though. So that's what's coming forward. And now they're bringing my attention to number 2 and 6. So unity and love and power coming together. So yeah, sending you love, Kate. Sending you love, Caroline. Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
And
Donna, you want to go next?
Yeah, Donna.
Okay.
Hi.
Hi, would you like a card, Donna?
Love that, Jane. It's so wonderful here with you, Dorothy and Kate and Jane and Lisa and everyone.
So nice to see you. So we'll tune into Donna and see what comes forward for her. So I'll have you shuffle, please, Lisa. And then we'll cut the deck and picking that top card. So Lisa, right off the bat, I heard you're really coming into that queendom. It's just a lot more queendom. So that's what's coming forward. Before I even saw what Lisa is bringing forward. Lisa, would you be able to show the card and say, yeah, maybe start speaking so that.
Yes.
Perfect.
So this is one of the creatures, and it's an alligator emerging out of the darkness. And it's the words underneath it say primal instincts.
I love that. So the connection that I'm seeing with coming into your queendom and the primal instincts is the emergence. It feels like you are emerging from a lot of the primal, and shifting away from the primal as in primal for survival, and now you're coming into primal as in pleasure. So, and that queendom really comes together for pleasure. What I'm also seeing is that's very empowering for you. So coming back, another way to say queendom is the goddess, right? So that goddess within you, that feminine, that divine feminine within you. And this really is about nurturing yourself. You may want to look into different tantra practices or different practices of pleasure, and things along those lines if you haven't already. But it's really just coming into that that beautiful space and sacred space. Thank you, Lisa. Yeah, thanks, Donna. And
we have a special guest here, birthday girl Susan.
Hi,
Fernald.
Susan. Yay! Happy birthday. Would you like a card?
Happy birthday, Susan.
Happy birthday. Would you like a card, Susan?
Go ahead.
I would love one. That would be nice. Thank you.
So we'll tune into your energy. And if Lisa, if you would be able to shuffle for Susan, please.
Susan.
Beautiful. And cut the deck, please. And we'll pick that top card. So Susan, what's coming forward right now is about solutions. There's always lots of different solutions and options.
It's funny that she keeps coming up with this.
Yeah, so protect fiercely. This feels like a different energy. For Kate, it was about peace. For you, it's about, I'm hearing from your team about energy and the energy of solutions and the energy of choices, and that you have choices. There's a lot more objectivity coming in this energy. not necessarily about compromise, but about being objective and coming from that grounded space. And that's one of the energies of this card, is about being very grounded, having patience, having self-control, very much about like healing energy. The fire burns away anything that you no longer need. You may even want to envision that. Anything that you no longer need, it's burning away. And right now they're showing you in the center. So like this card, how the woman's in the center with all the fire. And so anything that you no longer need, your circle maybe even become very small during this time and burn away everything else. So you're completely allowed to envision a nice, beautiful circle with everything you love, everything that brings you joy, everything that sparks something within you, everything you're curious about is in that circle, and everything else gets burned away. I hope that makes sense. If anyone has any questions too on their cards, we can always tune in a little bit more.
No, I just wanted to say there were two cards that kind of were like pushing up to the top, you know.
Yeah,
there was another one, and I
yeah.
thought it's not dissimilar, but it's sever outdated ways.
Oh my God.
What is that? Sever outdated ways?
Wow.
Wow.
I really felt this one was pushing up to the top and wanted to come out. So.
Huh.
Yeah, and that feels very much like a so a lot of change. And so yeah, perfect unity is what your team is saying. Perfect unity. And unity meaning burn it all away. Just burn it. Whatever you don't need, you really don't need it. Just let it burn. And that comes back to your spirituality and your connection to God too, of trusting that. So again, there's options, there's solutions. So yes, I hope that makes sense. A lot of change for you right now.
My turn. My turn.
Yay, Jane. So we'll, if
last but not least.
Yes, Lisa, if you could please shuffle for Jane. We'll tune into her. And I'll have you cut the deck and have you cut the deck and put the top card, please. So your team is also talking about solutions and options, Jane, but not in the same way. So, but it is about making a decision. So the decision is happening. For Susan, it feels like an all-encompassing within her life, like she just has to burn away a lot of stuff. And so that's for the solutions. But for you, it feels like this, it feels more on the decision-making for a professional.
Oh, and my professional coach is here on the call, Miss Caroline,
And
and she is laughing because we just talked about this the other day.
So, and Lisa, I haven't seen the card yet. If you can say something and then I can see the card, that'd be great.
Yes. The card is Hina, who's the goddess of the moon. And the words under it were listen, reflect, mirror.
Are you able to show it by chance? Thank you. So, and that was listen, reflect, mirror. It's goddess of the moon. You're already doing what you need to do. It is a process. But there are options and there are solutions, just that reminder. And it is about finding a compromise. So it's find that win-win. Keep going out in nature. That's going to keep you grounded. That's going to keep you sane, is what your team is saying. And what's happening right now is it's definitely an ending, and there's another self of you. That's how your team worded it. There's another self of you that's coming forward. So once that emerges, you've really let go of so much. But again, your team just keeps saying nature, 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 nature. That's what's going to get you through this time. Not only get you through it, but you're able to see things from a different perspective in a way, because you've been through things like this before, right? Like when you went through a major breakup, that when you went through that, you've already gone through a similar situation where you had to have a compromise, where you lost a bit of yourself, but you gained a new self. And so that's what's coming forward right now. Perfect.
That's fabulous.
Awesome. Well, thank you everyone for tuning in. Thank you so much, Lisa, for sharing your.
I can't wait. I already pre-ordered the cards, Lisa.
Yeah, I'm definitely doing that. They're so beautiful. To have art in your hands and to be able to feel them will be really wonderful. And they're so beautiful. And to learn about the different goddesses too, that I'm really excited about. So I really thank you, Lisa, for sharing. Do you have anything else you want to add, Lisa, before we leave?
I would just say that they're coming out in June, and their pre-sales are on the website on goddessonearth.com. So that's it, and I'm so grateful to be here, and I really loved your hearing your readings. It was mind-blowing.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Dorothy has a pretty cool group and does a lot of wonderful things.
That's amazing.
The Mother of Peace cards, one of our students, she uses those, and it's really cool because they're the circle ones. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So like sometimes they'll be a little bit over here, sometimes, and they're really beautiful.
They're really incredible. Yeah.
Well, thank you everyone so much for joining. Thank you for taking the time, and
thanks everyone.
Thank you for letting me
Thank
crash.
you.
Thank you so much. Great.
Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, Dorothy. Bye.
thank you. Have a great
And
night.
please share the recording so we can share with others.
Yeah, I definitely am. I feel like everyone needs to see this. So we'll talk
Thank you.
more. Thank
Okay.
you. Have a great night.
Great. We'll see you in a little bit, Donna.
Bye.